Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to your own Silicon Valley Tech Talk show, your go to place to learn about technology trends and innovations directly from the leaders. This is your host, Faisal Vattu from San Jose, California. AI has been helping enterprises to increase productivity in many different ways. AI is able to do that by revolutionizing the automation space for enterprises. AI automation and its related aspects are the topics of our show today. We are fortunate to have Balakrishna DR as our guest today. Bali is Executive Vice President at Infosys. Infosys is a global IT and consulting services company headquartered in India. Infosys helps customers with digital transformation, software development, cloud computing, AI, cybersecurity, and enterprise solutions. Bali has 30 plus years of experience at Infosys and is currently leading efforts across industry verticals to increase AI adoption and automation. So, without any further delay, let's go and talk to Bali and learn from his insights. Hello, Bali. Welcome to our show. How are you doing today?
Doing very good, Faisal, and thanks for having me on your show.
Great. So, Bali, the concept of enterprise automation has been there for a while, and over time, organizations have reaped many benefits from it. What's new with AI-based automation? What new incremental value will be delivered with AI-based automation?
Yeah, see, traditional automation that used to be there for many years, decades now, were deterministic and rule based, right? But with the advent of agentic AI, things have actually changed. Today, agentic AI powered by LLMs, you can have a lot of autonomy in the way that you automate via context aware and decision making, dynamic adaptation, leveraging tools, language understanding, right? And then also, it is not about one agent. The multiple agents now can work together to automate end to end workflow and processes, getting data and integrating data from various sources. So, what does this all mean, right? So instead of isolated tasks like extracting information from emails, today agentic AI can automate processes, whether procurement, finance, HR. It can actually automate such complex processes end to end. And further, now with the rise of protocols that enable communication between agents like MCP, A to A, agents can work with diverse variety of tools, and they can bring in further automation at scale with across multiple enterprise functions and even outside the enterprise, right? With other enterprises, they can actually coexist, right? So today, with agentic AI, we can actually look in summary beyond the task based automation to business process based automation. A few examples is for a large professional audit company, we are looking at the end to end audit processes with the help of agent and automating that, automating customer service and troubleshooting failures in financial services organization, like automating the KYC, customer onboarding, etc. So that's, I think, is what is different from rule based to the entire business process based automation with context aware decision making, reasoning powers that are there and dynamic. So we used to talk about assistant to humans. Now it is flipped the other way. Agentic AI can do it autonomously with human in the loop to be able to verify what the agents are doing.
So, with the tremendous growth in the AI adoption and so many different options available on AI models, I'm sure there are also huge challenges around ethics, bias, and regulatory aspects of AI. How do you think AI industry as a whole can tackle this challenge, or how do you think these challenges can be addressed at the enterprise level?
So, first of all, yeah, that's a great point. And responsible AI needs to be the core design principle. What we have seen is that it can't be an afterthought. You have to be responsible from the design. And what we mean by that is that you should embed fairness, explainability, security, transparency, etc. from ground up. There are multiple levels that you have to actually apply. Technical guardrails to be able to detect and mitigate threats as input and output. But in addition, process guardrails, risk assessment, red teaming, human in the loop design frameworks, etc., to be able to manage that. And then governance guardrail. Regular audits need to be conducted and every life cycle stage of AI, especially for high impact areas like hiring or lending, etc. And this needs to be done at the industry level. Infosys has an offering called AI 3S to do that, but then we are also developed a toolkit for responsible AI that we actually open sourced, and there are other enterprises, organization, academic institutions that are actually contributing. So we need to actually work together to be able to build the tool sets that we can actually implement in our AI use cases to make it responsible going forward.
Yeah. So, Bali, I know that your team has been heavily engaged in the US market, and I would like to get your view on the traction of AI adoption in the US market. So, what are the main use cases and opportunities driving AI adoption in the US market?
Yeah, I think US is what we see is in the forefront of enterprise AI adoption, especially in sectors like financial services, communication, healthcare, retail. And as I mentioned before, agentic AI use cases are dominating the market. We also see demand for small language models, AI platforms to be able to scale across the organization, the responsible AI offerings that I actually talked about. And some of the most common use cases that you asked about, I think, is in customer service transformation with conversational AI and agentic AI now, knowledge management, including extracting insights from documents, manuals, etc. Content generation, whether it is generating network diagrams or process documentation, marketing content, contracts, all of those things. And now more and more with agentic AI, we are seeing one of the use cases that is most prevalent is how you use agentic AI to power business process automation in shared services such as finance, marketing, HR. We also see evolution of AI as the new UI. Now, instead of having your regular screens and the way that you would actually interface with your systems of record, you could now actually use AI as the user interface through voice and multiple other touch points. The other use case that is pretty prevalent is the AI assisted software development. The entire life cycle of software development. Legacy modernization is an interesting use case. It is a lot of enterprises in the US, especially the large enterprises, have a lot of legacy that they actually deal with, sometimes even older system, mainframe systems, etc. And how you can use AI to be able to modernize these systems is another use case that we see a lot of traction in, and in IT operation. So a mix of things that we see in the IT landscape and right across multiple business functions that I spoke about.
Wally, I'm sure your organization has helped hundreds of customers in increasing the productivity, but that could also mean that certain jobs will be eliminated, or employees need to learn new skills to cope with the AI environment. So, how do you think organizations can address this challenge of reskilling their employees, in this AI age?
No, that's extremely important point that you raised, Faisal. It can't be reactive. Even your success of what you can actually do with agentic AI, etc., all depends upon the buy-in from your employees, and so this has to be more proactive rather than reactive. As an example, identifying the emerging skills gaps early and investing in continuous learning for the employees. You need to be able to create learning paths tailored for each role. So in Infosys, we have used a combination of internal academies, hands-on labs, and then AI-led personal training paths to upskill our talent. And um, we have three stages of AI enablement, like we call it AI aware, AI builder, and AI masters. So programs like that. What we believe is every one of the employees needs to be aware, even if they're not actually the expert, how it actually impacts their function. And we need to create workshops, hackathons for ideation so that everybody is involved in terms of how you can actually leverage it. Internal AI focused communities where leaders can discuss the challenges, share success, and collaborate on the various different projects. So we should look at AI and we should frame it as an enabler, not as a replacement of humans. I think that is actually extremely important, and reskill the people so that they are able to do higher order tasks and not some of the manual repetitive areas. They can actually create a higher order impact by using AI tools, and that is what as enterprises we should actually focus on.
So a lot of innovation is being driven by Silicon Valley on AI and other tech hubs in US. How do you think large enterprises and companies can collaborate with this ecosystem to bring those innovations out to real world impact in industries like finance, healthcare, and manufacturing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are a lot of startups, and especially in the Silicon Valley and other innovation hubs, and it is important to be able to leverage these. And some of these startups have good ideas, they have innovative technologies, the way they've actually applied the technology, and the startup brings agility and speed. But how we leverage them, for example, in Infosys, is that we run a program which we call innovation ecosystem, where we identify these kind of startups, and then what the startups don't have access to is the customer reach. They don't have access to the data. They don't have the scale to be able to implement it across large enterprises, etc. And that is where we see a win-win relationship for our enterprise clients, for the startups and ourselves, that we actually engage with some of these startups, look at how we can scale those technologies, ideas, products that they have across large enterprises. So the enterprises win, the startup win, and then we are also actually able to provide value to both these stakeholders.
Thank you very much, Pali, for joining our show. I'm sure audience learned a lot from your insights.
Thank you, Faisal. Thanks for having me again.